Hey, many fish. It's the 30th of August, 2017. And, you know, I scan a lot of articles. A lot. And you rarely see anything in the mainstream about Chicago. Maybe some stuff about Illinois, but never stuff about Chicago. They keep that under wraps, you know, and a lot of us know why. The fact that it's the murder capital of not just this country, but most of the world. And this guy, who was Barack Obama's chief of staff and left midterm under strange circumstances and immediately becomes the mayor of Chicago, ousting a mob family that has been in that position for decades, and you don't just kind of like slide in over the dailies, if you know what I mean. So he slides into Chicago, and he's sitting pretty there now. It becomes the murder capital of the world under his watch. I'll put links. This is just this month alone. Chicago murders. Not just shootings or assaults. Murders. Not a peep in the mainstream. Under this guy's watch, right? So what's the deal? Why is this all of a sudden popping up in the news? And the article is him and his attorney general. You know who they're blaming for their police problems in Chicago? The Trump administration, who is in the middle of dealing with a plethora of problems, one of which is North Korea, which I found to be really interesting yesterday. One of the very first and only articles that they came out with early on in this latest missile shooting was this. This is the Washington Post, or Democracy Dies in Darkness. South Korea military, North Korea missile flies 9/22/11. Completion 8. Completion. The numbers are just ridiculous, and this is all they put in the article. That's it. I mean, who's that? What is this? And it's, trust me, the numbers are very suspect. So I'll just leave it at that. Now, back to Rahm Emanuel, Chicago. We have going on this horrific situation with Harvey, right? I came across an article, and I really trust Sean over at SGT Report. I believe that he really makes a sincere effort to put nothing but his truth up there. And I read this article that he posted, and I'm going to link it. And it just points out many of the things that I was already aware of. Many of these anomalies that we catch in their little radar, you know, things they do. But the reason I bring up Chicago is because I was doing some research a few years back. And Chicago, just west of Chicago, is home to the second largest particle collider in the world. It's the sister of CERN, just outside of Chicago, okay? And it happens to be, and I'm just telling you what I see, okay? From the dead center of that collider is exactly 333 miles from the northern tip of the New Madrid fault line in Cairo, okay? This is the New Madrid fault line. Runs down here to Marked Tree. These other lines are a relation to something else I'm going to try and explain to you. But we have this massive amount of water coming in here. And I'm going to link several articles to this, so you're going to have to do a little research if you're so inclined. But the New Madrid, I mean, for years has been just talked about as, you know, a huge danger zone. I mean, there have been talks about it forever. And I had a good article here to show you, and of course I can't find it. I will, though, and I'll link it. But regardless, the New Madrid, we all know, it's a danger zone. And they got this CERN basically up here that they claim has been down since 2011. However, you go right into their wiki, and it's ready to roll. They still use it. It's used for experiments. You know, why do they go and spend 50 years, just like over at CERN, and untold amounts of money to build these things? Why? You have to ask these questions. And then we get this huge anomaly with Harvey. I believe that it's a potential thing, that they could be conjuring up something, because we have this Arch of Baal festival, and we have this, whatever you want to call it, Burning Man thing going on. And I'm telling you what, this is how dark powers work. They conjure things and create these scenarios to use to further their agendas. Keep these people in chaos, and we can just roll right over them. That's what they've been doing, right? Now that we're starting to figure them out and see them, they got to get rolling here. They're falling behind. And I'm seeing so many connections here. If you look in the Bible, right? We talk about waves, the sea and the perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. If we look at waves here, right? See, it's a vibration, a wave. Every other definition in the Bible is different. It's a breaker, a billow, a wave, meaning to be up high. But this one, in Jesus' prophecy here, waves is a vibration. You get these spirits conjuring, this is what they utilize. Vibration, it's all frequency. You have these rituals, big rituals. These are big ones, folks. Don't underestimate. Don't underestimate what these dark spiritual ritual things can do. We need to pray hard that these people, for one, they know Christ, and that they have discernment in what they're doing down there. That's all. Because it's the perfect storm, literally. The amount of moisture they're dumping in here, coupled with all this stuff that I'm seeing. I mean, we always have these earthquakes over here in Oklahoma. It seems they're popping off with the fracking all the time. But we are just a very short distance from that very volatile zone, especially when it's saturated down through this area here. I'm just saying, I put it out there because I see it, and if I don't, then I gotta sit with it, and God forbid anything comes of it, and I didn't tell anybody. But, there you have it. That's kind of what I got for you. I mean, there's tons more that I'll try and put together, but for now, that'll do it. Peace and grace to you, Manny Fish. Be safe.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armour of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armour of God,